took it as a bad thing, in fact, because yes, her face is not longer as it was before, but she had great surgeries that reconstructed the fractions that she used to have, and she has been living a super wonderful life, traveling all over the world, giving some words on love and some words on her own experience to other girls that are overcoming as well several trauma. So she's always grateful for that experience. And there's a lot of history around us and this kind of examples. And I was trying to find something in the text part of the book, and I already found it. And it's funny because these lessons is Lee took the Lee. Can you please share the screen again in Zoom so I can see the title? Love holds no grievances, right? Yes. And in the text part of the book, this goes along with this kind of praying, and it's. I give you to the Holy Spirit as part of myself. I know that you will be released unless I want to use you to imprison myself. In the name of my freedom, I choose your release because I recognize that we will be released together. And this is part of the section Christmas as the end of sacrifice within the chapter 15, the Holy Instant. That's the Holy Instant. Love holds no grievances. So it's beautiful how this book connects every single time this specific, huge, beautiful lesson. Love holds no grievances. I wanted to share that because I got inspired by this, and I know that now I never thought it like this, and I'm going to start to say that to my daughter. I have been always saying to my daughter, as I know that I'm going to move away from her for a little while, that she has a lot of resources to see me around her, even if I'm not there. So I'm giving her any other kind of tools and ways to make her feel like I'm around. For example, she has the same, she loves to touch one of my chest moles. I have a mole in my chest, and she loves to touch it ever since she was a baby. And she, in her body, she's starting to have the same mole in the same spot. It's starting to grow. So she was really realizing, oh, Mommy, I'm having the same mole as you. Yeah, baby, because I'm there. I'm always there with you, even if you don't see me, things like that. But with this lesson, I need to start to give her the idea. Whenever you miss me, because you're not seeing me right there with you, your father is me. I need to start to set that to her as well, because her father is me as well. And I have been recognizing that, like in the dark part of myself, because in the past I was saying, yeah, he was always showing me the grumpy little girl that thought didn't have a father, but I need to recognize as well the part of myself that he is a reflection of as well. I mean, he's gonna be the best father because I am the best mother for this little girl. So I need to tell her that as well in order for me to feel more consistent with the idea of forgiveness. Even though I'm already feeling such a different place in my heart and in my mind about my relationship with him, I need to start to give my daughter the idea that her father is me as well, and she needs to feel me through him as well, as I have been learning how to feel my father with capital F among every other person that I have been encountering in my life, because I didn't have a physical father, and I never thought about it in the past. So I wanted to share that. It's part of this kind of reflections of this lesson today. Is anybody wants to share something else? Hello, Rosa, Frankie, and everybody below.
Well, Adriana, then we men have to add you, the Holy Mother, to this group. Thank you for being you.
Oh, thank you. I'm gonna cry. No, I'm not gonna cry. Yeah, it's true. I mean, yesterday lesson was all about. I mean, for me, it was all about like considering this part of our history, Virgin Mary, and all these things, because love created me like itself, and I was recognizing yesterday that we as women are the ones that are waking up, and that's why the spiritual practices has been full of women. I mean, it seems like more and more of us are becoming to this realization, and therefore men are all as well recognizing that feminine side of them.
That's...
What? What happened?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize my mic was open. I just
No, I
realized something I
thought
was
you were
doing wrong there.
talking
It's
to me.
okay.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
I
I'm
said,
sorry.
what? What happened?
No, I left my mic open because I was going to say how beautiful what you were sharing was, but then I got distracted by something that was going wrong in my own little world. But what
Okay,
you
don't worry.
really, Dad, I appreciate you saying that, because honestly, if your Adriana, if your metaphor is holding true before, and I get to be the Son, and Dad gets to be the Father, and Tom's the Holy Spirit, then you're the Holy Mother. There's a Holy Mother missing in the Trinity, and so maybe it's Father, Mother, God. No, that's going to get really weird. I don't know.
No, you know what? What I have been saying is like the Holy Spirit, the Father, and the Son, but it's just that the Son is now in balance because the Son has a feminine side and a
Lovely.
masculine side. You and I in this relationship, we are the Son.
I'll take it. That sounds awesome.
Okay.
Okay, so now we have a new way to redefine Halloween.
We could we can have this like for October. We can all the four of us make something out of this for a costume in Halloween.
Well, I hope everyone else is enjoying this as much as we are, because it's a lot of fun, and this is such a precious lesson 68, because anytime we come back to it, we can clean up a little bit of the mess that's in our room, another piece of the mess that's in our room, and slowly but surely we just clean up our the messes that we have created for ourselves, and we don't have to suffer from them anymore. I don't know what else anyone could ask for, but it makes the room that we have cleaned up open and with plenty of extra space for miracles to come into our lives. This is the reality of this whole course, is to move away the crap and leave our life and our existence open to experiencing wonderful, wonderful miracles. I have to honestly say that almost daily I can label, I can name a, what I might call a small miracle or a big miracle. Um, there's a miracle, and I spot them. I don't look for them; they happen. In fact, when I look for, yeah, I really need a miracle here. It never seems to work out that way. A miracle is something that comes without my name on it, and I was telling Lee yesterday, right here where I sit, I built a little extra desk in on the wall on Saturday, which I do for about 6 or 7 months. I just never got around to it. And a week ago, I had lost a very small um, ear device, not Bluetooth, but just a hearing aid. It's no more than about 3/4 of an inch long. It's dark, and it came out of one ear that I hadn't known about. And I went looking for it a week ago. It was a loaner from the company that sells those things, and it was exactly the same color as the carpet. And last week, the weekend before, I went looking for that because that is a $2,000 little teeny tiny device that I know from experience dogs like to chew on because there's something about the wax, the flavor of the wax in the ear or something.
Ugh.
Nevertheless, I know it sounds disgusting, but the truth is, I thought I had lost it. We had searched this house with a magnifying glass, I swear, could not find it. And yesterday, that day that I finally built this thing was the day that I finally fulfilled a promise that I had made a long time ago to myself. And I hit that little thing by accident, and there it was. And so now I can go back to the company that they were loaning me the new device that doesn't have this other cumbersome thing over my ear, but also gets into trouble. The one I normally have when you put a mask on and you have glasses and you're trying to have this other thing on your ear. I felt like Dumbo. That was the elephant that could fly and so on. Anyway, all of this means nothing other than a little miracle meant a lot to me to have it come on the heels of having done something I had promised to do a long time ago, but had not fulfilled it until that day. So it's the way that all of this gets engaged. So glad to have
Thank
you all
you.
here.
Good morning, Rosa.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. I have a lot that I can reflect on with the conversations because I've just been listening for the last couple of days. Um, I like what you said, Adriana, yesterday about women coming into their natural form. You know, there are uh, some groups who believe that women were in charge, that we were the main uh, God, for lack of a better word. Um, and that the Bible and the whole God image was created by man to put us in fear and thus step down from our royal place to become servants as opposed to helpmates. And that in these frame of thinking, that we are now in a revolution of women taking power or becoming more powerful in all areas, business, religion, just education, government. And you can see it because more and more women are holding power in these political arenas. It is, for me, it is time for women to heal ourselves, and that the world becomes a nicer place and more aware when we ladies become aware of how powerful we are. And because we produce, we are the mothers that create all of the men and women in the world. We are the channel in which God delivers other humans, and that's an important role. But in our past, there has been there have been times when we were lowered to property as opposed to helpmates. And so I believe that this is a truth, that once we women forgive ourselves and all the stuff that we have done under the disguise of uh, helping ourselves, when in fact we really hindered ourselves, because the one thing that I believe works is love. And it is hard to forgive. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of awareness, not work. Let me not say that, because it's not hard. Once you become aware, as you were, Bob, aware that you had lost this thing and all of a sudden it just appeared. That happens to me all the time. I was, but once we note that there are miracles happening all the time, that they kind of just show up, you know, relationships just kind of change if we don't try to correct them. We just ask to forgive. ask to be forgiven. We don't have to speak to that person. We don't have, because we're all connected. So if I'm forgiving you over here, the feeling should hit you about me because I'm thinking about you, because I'm loving on you, even if you're angry with me. In spite of that, I still love you. And that's an important fact. And, you know, especially when you talk about relationships, because stupid stuff happens in relationships. Ego comes into play, and sometimes we're not even aware. Fear definitely comes into play because in a relationship, they say if you want to find out who you really are, get married or get in a relationship. You'll find out how much you have healed, how much you forgive.
Totally, totally.
I mean, a relationship will show you who you are, and you
Yeah.
actually, coaches and scientists say, we actually marry ourselves. So, you know, we're attracted to ourself in that person that we're forming a relationship with. And I know that sounds crazy, but the fact is
It's not, it's
something
not.
attracted you. And more than likely, it's the you in that person that you love so much or hate, depending on what's going on. So it's important to not respond without actually checking that ego in the place, because l- forgiveness actually frees us. It doesn't really free the person, it just frees us. It puts us in a space of acceptance, in a space of peace, in a space of love. You know, if people say, oh, well, I'm going to tell you, you know you've forgiven completely when you're put in a situation with that person or that place that you are having angst and anxiety about. If you're put in that space and you have no reaction, no joy, no happiness, no sadness, no angst, no anxiety, then you have forgiven completely. But if you hear that person's voice or that name, or you're placed in that house or that meeting, and your resistance shows up, you haven't done a thing. You're still holding on. You're still holding on. The idea is, for me, is to become so aware that those things that are outside of myself will not change who I am inside. You know, I could be in the middle of a burning building, but I should not panic. I should react in a normal sense and not get upset. It's like, I don't want to burn up. So why get into that situation? Why not just forgive them and be done with it? And, you know, I don't like to say it's hard, but it is a process. And it's only hard if you choose it to be. My pastor says life is hard, but you ain't got to suffer. You can choose something different. You can choose forgiveness. You can choose love. You can choose happiness. You can choose sadness. I've heard somebody say we have to remember that we are only using this body to house our spirit that's much greater than this body. It's like when I broke my leg, the first thing I said is, I am not a body and this is not going to be painful. Simple as that. It's just going to heal. That's it. That's all. But that was the course. That was the course teaching me and knowing that this body is just something that I'm borrowing for right now. My true self is my inner self, my Holy Spirit self, my connection to the Father, Mother, Son, my connection to that spirit that's greater than all things, that creator that created everything, down to the tears that come out of my body. We're created by God. And I have to be constantly reminded of this. Even if I'm angry with someone or disappointed in someone, I have to still remember that they too are God. Their spirit is God, and they just are in the same learning process as we all are. Because I truly believe that when we pass out of this existence, this dimension, we're going on, not physically, but spiritually. I really believe that. And I really, really, really know that there's something here on this planet Earth that is greater than everything. And it's like, this is the miracle too. I'm talking too much. But let me say this
No,
one
you're
thing.
not. You're
No,
doing
no,
great. We
no.
love it.
You're really giving all the love to my soul at least. I really want to
Adriana,
Don't
hug you
you
right
stop.
now.
Don't you stop. It's like a salve on a wound. It's wonderful. Keep going.
okay, so I I've lived in the same place for 13 years. I've gone through a lot of hoarding and detoxing and throwing away stuff. But I have nymphs in my house, and I have a spirit in my house that likes to play tricks on me. So, my cousin gave me a pair of earrings. 2 weeks ago, I wore them and I put them on a table I took them out, put them on the table right beside my chair in the living room. I know I put them there. And when I looked for it, there was only one. Yesterday morning, and every time I come into my living room and I look at this table, I say, well, where in the world is that earring? Well, yesterday morning, I woke up and guess what was on the table? Both earrings. I said, now, how I know that earring was not there all the days before yesterday. I know it wasn't. And I know I didn't put it there. And I'm like, you know what? Okay, I love y'all. Just make sure you don't lose my stuff. Just let me see whatever's in this house that I need to find in ease and elegance. And it just appears. Miracles happen
I like
after.
how you found your way back to peace no matter what.
Right. I was like, not concerned. I was like,
No,
okay.
those nymphs needed something. They were going out to the club and they needed the earrings so they complete their
Pretty
outfit.
much. That's the way I felt too. They needed the club, so they wanted to look pretty. So they
Well,
decided they
Rosa,
were going to take
you
my
had a
earring.
earring. You had the same kind of earring experience I did, right there in the same place. Maybe we need to
Oh my
listen more
goodness gracious,
and
what a
hear
parallel.
people. I mean, come on, you just tell the same thing.
The
That's
same
amazing to me.
story. It is.
Thank you so much. I think we're all telling the same story over and over. Lee and I used to go to Unity Church, and there was a pastor named Jack Graff. And Jack Graff was an amazing guy in that he said that he spent most of the night before Sunday, meaning Saturday night and Sunday morning, putting his speech or sermon together. And as strange as this is to say, he also would say, I preach the same thing every Sunday, same message, just in different ways. And this lesson, 68, you just said it again in another way. This is a course in miracles. We get miracles to enhance our life, to make our life better. And if only if we're not seeing them has something gone wrong. The miracles are still coming. Now, you might not have seen that earring. I might not have seen my earring, but it's there for us to enjoy the miracles. We just have to get ourselves out of the way so we can see the miracles. It's so simple. I will be listening to this again because I like what I'm saying. I like what Rose is saying. I like what Adriana is saying. I like what Tom wrote. And I love what Lee has been reading. This is really a very powerful meeting for me. Come on, y'all. All those of you down below, if you want, come up and
Well, I
say
have to say
hello.
that I love Andy's profile picture because that butterfly in that color represents something special for me and for Lee. Have you seen that, Lee?
You know, Adriana, I've heard about this butterfly being healing. I don't know. I don't even know any more than that. But it landed on me. It landed on me about last week, last
Oh my God.
Saturday. Yeah.
Wow.
And I
It's
haven't,
beautiful. No,
yeah, what?
it has a romantic meaning for me and Lee because
Oh,
it's part of our, I mean, it's just part of the beginning of our relationship. So it's beautiful to see it like that as well. I mean, it's beautiful that you have that meaning for it as well. It, it's beautiful.
yeah. Yeah, there's another picture where it's iridescent. It's the same butterfly. We just took a different position, a different perspective, and it's iridescent. And
Wow.
I'll put that up. But does anybody know like what they say about it as far as healing, or is it just about transformation? I'm not sure. But you see people on Clubhouse or anywhere put that emoji, a
Yeah,
lot of
but it's
times.
just that if you think about it, any transformation, it's a healing.
Is healing.
It's
That's
healing.
true.
In
Yeah.
the animal world, they have the best metaphor for a true transformation. They go in as a worm. They build a house out of silk. They literally transform into a jelly and completely come out as a new thing that can fly in the sky. I mean, and feeds off of flowers for the rest of its life. It goes from being stuck in the dirt to living in a silk house to emerging as something truly different, like an angel. And so, as like, there's no better metaphor in the animal kingdom. It's too perfect not to use.
Right.
A caterpillar going into a butterfly is just magical.
But
And
And
look at the cocoon. If you guys PTR, go ahead, Bob. I just wanted you to see the cocoons. The cocoons are
oh,
magical. There's like gold in them and
Andy,
stuff.
you really do well with your picture manipulation here. That is a beautiful chrysalis.
okay. And I'm going to tell you all that you may notice that Andy is sometimes known as the ear chick because that's what she
That's
does
funny.
in business. So that is the third. A lot of times miracles happen in threes. This is my miracle day because Andy, I was trying to figure out what is that handle. I guess that's what they call it. And I thought first the word was theater. No, it's not spelled that way. And then I remembered you are the ear chick. You work with um, helping people with their hearing with the ears, and I couldn't feel more complete right now. I just can't imagine.
You know what? I got to tell you, it's not just hearing. There's some really cool stuff about the ear. So of course we hear the word, the truth, right? We the ear is the first organ in our body to develop that has all that's the first organ in our body to develop at all, and it is also has all three tissue differentiation, like cellular tissue differentiation, everything that turns into every other part of the body. The ear has all the what do you call it,
Yeah.
histology. And also, if you think about a deaf person, this is what's really cool and how it ties my stuff in. A deaf person feeling vibration, the ear, actually, I use vibration to heal on the ear. But I could put the micro current on an ear point for your knee, and I can send that through the nervous system, which has all the even in the ear, we have all the endings of of the nerves. I mean, they're all connected to the brain. Okay, from the ear, they're connected to the brain, but then the brain connects throughout the whole body, the nervous system. So it actually uses
I just have
vibration.
a question, Andy. Now that you are getting me the, like this huge wisdom of your doing, I mean, what happened? You could probably answer this. We as women, we ever since we born, we have this holes made into our ears to have these earrings. What is the part of the body that gets like disconnected or tampered with having these earrings in our ears as
The
women?
eye, the eye.
The eye, the side. Oh my God.
Yes,
Really?
yes, it
Wow.
is. It's the eye. That's the eye point, and
Wow.
it goes
The
back.
view.
Yeah, here's a fun fact.
Oh
That's
my
why
God.
pirates pierced their ears so that they could see the land from far.
What?
Yes, they wanted their
Wow.
vision to be more keen.
So
Yeah,
is it better to have earrings or to not have earrings?
now that's the interesting part.
Like,
Okay,
you know, so to
you
be or
still
not to be.
yeah, because some people will like they've actually pierced people's ears because they thought different parts of the ear, like one for uh to suppress the what's it called, the appetite. It doesn't work like that. Once you get a piercing, you might get some scar tissue, but you still have to stimulate the area. um it's not like it's going to matter if you have a hole there. It still did not separate the nerve. It might have separated a nerve but not the whole system, so like your point would have probably moved if you had a separation in the nerve, in a nerve ending. It would just would have put the nerve ending in a little different spot. So that's not really an issue. But just because they pierced it, no, the fact that you actually still have to stimulate it. However, even music stimulates our ear, our nervous system. So even deaf people will still be stimulated and still have the effects of a hearing person in this way, in this healing way. It's deep. It's cool. It's amazing. Yeah, really is amazing.
Oh my
But
God.
if you PTR again, look at that iridescent. And my friend took the picture and didn't even put a filter. And I even have like pink around my skin. And I was while it landed on me, I'm going, I'm healing. I'm healing. It's healing me. And
Yes.
and that's what I did. I guess as my aura showed up pink.
That is so nice, Andy. Oh, it's beautiful. What a beautiful butterfly. I'm watching the change in the profile picture
And
that you
look
have.
at Fionn. She comes in with the same colors.
Yes, that's true. She's healing too. Yeah. That is amazing. I mean, and I never thought about the thing in our ears as women. So it gets in the way of sighting, of sighing, of seeing, viewing. Wow.
Yeah.
So when we talk about vision on our level, do you think, I don't know, I guess it's imbued with as much power as we decide to give it ultimately. But all of these kind of things that manipulate our body, we can choose to believe them in our mind or rise above it back in our more of our spirit.
Right. And you
I
know
guess
what?
choose what serves you, right?
Yeah, right. And you know what? When it's hard to open the spirit, there's actually ear points and ear protocol that will, because the Chinese already found those where there's the opening to spirit, and they're
All
named
right,
things
where are we
like
supposed
that.
to rub our ears today? This might be the next step in furthering our practice. Where do we have a lobe
Well,
massage guidance you can work us through?
Maybe
you
that's what
know,
helped me start opening.
Yeah.
you're right because the ears, such as also the vagina and the penis, your hands and your feet, they all have nerve endings that will do the same thing that the ear does, massaging your feet in certain areas. Everything is connected. All your nerve endings are connected to your hands, your foot, your ear, your vagina, your penis. All of those things have nerve endings and nerve points that are connected to every organ in your body.
Amazing.
God
Yeah.
created an amazing system in our world. And a lot of us are not like in tune with that as old, centuries ago. Medical people knew that they could heal by massaging certain parts and putting pressure on certain. I learned yesterday, and because I am a science teacher, elementary, of course, but our bodies are amazing. There's a point right below your wrist where the two bones meet that when you massage it, it will alleviate gas and upset stomach. It
Yeah,
works.
there's
There's
microsystem.
a po- there's
Yeah,
a point
oops.
there's a point in your hand right between your thumb and your pointer finger, that flesh right there. When you massage it, it will alleviate your headaches. Your fingertips, your toes tips. I mean, you can actually find these pictures on the internet. The
There's
senses
one difference with
within that.
the ear, though. There is one difference with the ear, Rosa. The difference is
Hmm.
because I'm also a reflexologist, so I do the hands, the feet. There's even the face has a whole microsystem to the
Right.
whole body, the back, the front of our body. Oh, you're right
Yeah.
about all that. The only difference is, and this has been the thing that stands out the most, and why the ear reflexology is the
Oh,
most effective, and that's because it has all the like it works through the nervous system. The others work through the energy systems.
okay. I can
Exactly. Yeah,
understand it.
and it goes to the nervous system because it has to do with the hearing and the thoughts. I mean, the way that we think in without the level of the form. I mean, if you analyze the other senses, you get information by getting in contact with physical things. I mean, for example, the hands needs to touch things, and the body, the skin needs to touch things in order to have information. Your mouth needs to move in certain ways to experience sound coming out of it, or eating something has to do with a relationship with something in the level of the form. But the ears doesn't have to have any relationship with the level of the form because they only hear. So it has to do with the mind, and that's probably why this is more
Effective.
like
Effective.
instant access has that yeah, that I could see the power that the ears have, because it really goes directly to your brain,
Yeah, actually,
to
and
your
two, you know
thoughts.
what? I should tell you this too. It does have the energy system as well as the others. So it has all
Yeah,
of it.
it
Just it,
has it,
yeah.
but it's just the part of the hearing process, the hearing, not the physical points that it could be related to the entire body.
Yeah.
It is just that the hearing, I mean, the side needs to really get in contact with physical things. I mean, we need to perceive in some form that there's a chair in order for you to see a chair, right? But with your ears, if you close your eyes and you only have your ears and you start to think like you don't have any other kind of perception, the ears doesn't have to get into contact with anything in the level of the form.
In fact, yes, they say that a blind person is more lonely than a deaf person. And that's the
Wow.
reason, because the deaf person can still hear the vibration. It can hear you breathe. Or I'm sorry, I said that way wrong. I said that the opposite. It's the opposite. The blind person is less lonely than the deaf person. Like the
Exactly, I
blind
was
person
about to say
doesn't
that.
have that aspect of lonely. Yeah.
That makes
Wait,
sense.
did I say that right? Yeah, you know what
You
I mean.
did.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes, you
you
did.
did. All
In
right.
fact, there's a beautiful
Wait.
movie that is called Coda, and it's about a family that is deaf, and they have a child that she sings beautifully, but she is the only one in the family that can hear. So there's a beautiful, loving lesson there with that movie. I just wanted to recommend that.
I'll just say one more thing. I'm actually a sign language interpreter. I went to school for it. Just letting y'all know that too. That was an aspect of my journey. That's it.
That's
Take the
a
plane,
hell of a journey.
Captain.
All right. Here's what I'd like to remind you of. In spite of everything we've learned about ears and everything, I am not a body. I am free. For I am still as God created me. We get to come back to our soul selves, irrespective of these bodies, for a moment or two. And remember that Love holds no grievances. Today is the day to let go of anything that's holding you back in terms of the people that you might have a resentment towards. Somebody who's got your goat. Somebody who's making you feel like, I got to repair this body because this other person hurt it. Whomever you have in that place, this is your opportunity to release that and thereby release anything that goes along with it for yourself. So all the stuff we're talking about makes sense, whatever you've got to do so that you can come back here, relieve yourself of the grievances through forgiveness, and set yourself free. That's what today is really about. And it's all in your mind. You can do it whichever way you need to do it, whatever practice you need. All those things are widely accepted in this room because we just want to get to the point where we forgive. And in the end, it's a choice. Today, you get to choose to forgive and see how everybody can walk free from that prison that we make. So you can come back to the meditation that I had at the beginning. I could wrap things up, but it's about 8 o'clock when some people have to go off to work. We'll probably hang out here for a little bit longer. I'm really grateful for you all participating. I hope I'm not throwing too much of a wet blanket on it, but I did want to come back and just release us from the physical body here in this space if we can.
Yeah, there was something I wanted to say that Rosa was talking about, and she reminded me, and I'm not quite sure except what it was, but yeah, somebody was irritating me, and I realized it was the way that they were irritating me was actually what irritates me about myself. So I had to forgive that about myself, and and suddenly I'm in love with this person too.
You use that projection perfectly. That's
Yeah.
exactly what we're using these for. You transformed it. Oh, I'm so proud of you. That's great.
Well, I've been doing it, but for some reason, some people I want to forgive less.
Oh, I get
So
it. I get
it
it.
must be,
That's what
yeah, it
it
must be
feels.
like, yeah, there's
That
like, if I
righteous
don't,
anger feels good.
I know. I wonder what it is though. It might be something that someone said to me that I thought was a reflection on who I am and that hurt me deeper. It might be something like that. I know that Course in Miracles says nothing is, no, no sin is worse than another. The things like that, you know what I mean by that, they just say
Yep.
no problem is bigger than another. But I just wonder why it is that something that would actually disturb me more. It must have something to do
It
with
hits
how hurt
closer to
I
home.
was. Pardon?
It hits closer to home. When it
Yeah,
reflects you more fully, it's kind of like, if you see a picture in black and white, you can uh, get into that thought that that's me. And in this case, this is something that reflects you almost perfectly, and so it's even harder to forgive. The things that we can't see about ourselves are the hardest things to forgive in somebody else. They're the things we hide from ourselves the most, and so we project it hardest outwards away from us because we're disgusted by that part of us. And it's kind of like a seed. There's a seed in there that's true. And once you can forgive the seed of the problem in the other, all of a sudden it's like forgiving that part in yourself and realizing, oh, damn, I had a human experience. It's time to come back to who I really am and change that human experience so that I don't have to make that mistake anymore. And
yeah,
it's finding that key for yourself in every situation.
and here to even twist it a little bit further, it's also this person knew what buttons to push on me because they saw my weakness somehow, and
Boy, oh boy.
yeah, and
I
so
know
then
what you mean.
you know what I mean? So then it wasn't that they were, yeah, it was somehow I hurt them too. And they retaliated, but they were projecting back to me my weakness. So it was actually an opportunity to see, oh my God, this is for me. This is for me to, you know what I mean? Like they gave it back to me because I gave it to them. I had to have given it to them first for them to see it on me that they needed to project it. You know what I mean?
Andy,
Somehow I
I
let them,
know what you mean in such a deep way. It's
yeah, it's
heartbreaking.
deep.
I know it in such a deep way. It's
Uh,
heartbreaking
yeah, like people
because
will use it against you.
tomorrow's
Really
Thursday.
do.
No, it's I'll tell you exactly what it is.
Okay.
Tomorrow's Thursday, and last week Dean didn't want to go to school, and it was my job to make him go to school. And it took me 2 hours, and I got him to school. But by the end of the day, a policeman had dropped off a restraining order, and I'm not allowed to go close to my kids anymore.
Oh
It's
my.
that kind of lesson is in my face. My daughter took a video of me when I was getting Dean out the final door, and I had to put him up over my shoulder to get him out the door.
I don't know where you live, but here
I'm in
they tell you
Massachusetts.
that's I'm in New York, and they tell you you if your child needs a spank, you could do it, and they don't. In
I
fact,
did not spank him,
you
but
didn't even spank him, but
when
oh,
my ex-wife wrote out what she wrote, she said he put him in a headlock, and that
oh
she went and talked
Jesus.
to the therapist, and the therapist said go to the Department of Family Services. And I know I love my son, and I'd never hurt a hair on his body, and it took me 2 hours to get him to go to school, and I really do feel innocent, but I
True.
haven't seen the video. and I know that, there's a lot going on as a single parent just trying to get one kid out, and
Oh my
it's
gosh.
going to be
Well,
okay. It's
there
going to
is
be
something
okay.
for you to learn, and it is interesting how
Yeah.
Love
it
holds
got
no
projected.
grievances, so he needs to be okay with the video.
Well, when you figure it out, Lee, we need to know it, because I'm sure it's
Oh,
there.
you'll hear.
Yeah, we
Here
might
I
even
am.
be able to figure it out. I've had some twisted stories happen to me too, but it's like, yeah, somewhere it was definitely mine for sure. And that's not to give
There's
myself
a seed I
power.
planted. Yep.
Yeah,
There,
yeah.
there's a seed I planted. I'm
Yeah, a
happy to
weakness.
work on myself.
Someone found that weakness because you put it out there, and you put it out there to learn about it. So strange.
If if there's
Yeah.
anything to do when push comes to shove, meaning you're in the courtroom with peace in your heart and your mind, ask to please see the movie, the video that she took, to see if it really is a headlock, because the word doesn't necessarily accurately portray what she saw. It was her definition.
I know,
And
Dad. I
I
know.
know
I
you
know.
know.
This is
I'm
the
saying this,
sixth.
let me
Just hang
finish.
tight. You don't have to. It's okay. I'm gonna go see a lawyer this afternoon. For the
It's
last
not about a
six
lawyer.
or seven, for the last 6 or 7 times when I've gone in the courthouse to defend myself, defending yourself in the courthouse puts you at a disadvantage. This isn't a time when I'm going to put myself at a disadvantage. All right, fine. Tell you
But
whatever
can
you want.
we,
Go ahead.
is it okay if your dad says it for my
Of
benefit?
course. Yeah,
For
I'm
my
sorry.
benefit. No, it's okay. I get it. You're feeling on the defense, and for sure I get it. But I want to hear it for my benefit, because there might be a benefit in it. I see something that's happening in my family with my daughter and her son. So I
Absolutely. Guys, forgive me. Forgive me, Dad. Go
no,
ahead,
no,
please.
no. It's
Yeah,
okay. Of
you're
course
all right.
you
It's
get it.
okay. It's all right. It's all right. Everybody, it's good. Please, Dad, go ahead.
Well, I was saying that, and thinking that as long as you enter the courthouse and have no defensive mode whatsoever, that you have to defend yourself, that you have to prove that you didn't do the headlock. Go with an open mind to say, I'd like to see the video so that it can become clear to me how someone else may have thought I did something destructive to my son, because I would never do that.
Can,
And to let that statement be the one that precedes your seeing it. And it may be you've already figured this out. I just wanted to say it for Andy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because look, my my daughter goes through something with her son, where her son is 16 years old. He's a really big kid, and he punches her in her face, and when she calls the police, they say they can't do anything, they can't press charges on him. Oh, I'm sorry, he's 15. That's why. Maybe that's part of the reason. No, I don't know. I don't think, no, that's not part of the reason. I guess he can do this. He can abuse her up till he's 18 or something, or some weird thing, some really weird thing. I'm like, you know how they say you could drop a baby off at the at the fire department. I'm like, drop that kid's ass off at the fire department, because I'm actually really upset because that's my baby that he's hitting. And that bothers me. But anyway, I forgive him. He's got mental issues. He really does have a lot of issues, so we do forgive him. But she was told, yes, if you need to, hit him, as long as you don't make him bleed and cause him, serious injuries, it's okay, and you will not go to jail. And I'm like, maybe you should cause him a little injury so that so that they take him from you, so that he sees that he has it good. I'm sorry, there's a lot of energy in here, and it was for me, Bob. That was for me for sure. So thank you. uh I will forgive, and I do forgive. And yeah, but it is my baby, so where I have to cut those strings and see this in the same way that I would see anything else, and that was for me. Thank you.
Sometimes it comes across as a miracle that it is not understandable to anyone else, but to an individual like yourself right now, hearing something in a way that brings you healing that doesn't really mean as much to someone else hearing it. And it's hearing, it's hearing that we've been talking about. And hearing is and ear is all together. It's a wonderful thing. I'm going to look into more about this whole thing. My brother Michael, who has been doing healing for 40 years, wrote a book on reflexology, and it was all using the foot. And so, on the foot, there are pressure points at the bottom of the foot that can work all kinds of wonderful things that appear to be magical in the complete body. So, all of these different pressure points are all to say it's all around us. There are ways to clean out any mess that we've made that we don't want to make anymore. And that's all that counts.
Okay, I
We
can't
want to
promise to
clean
say.
our own mess.
Yeah, and I can't promise to say this is my last time saying something, but I want to say, Lee, because you opened that discussion, this is what came out of it for me. And so we never know what's coming out of it for another person, for sure. And I appreciate you opening the discussion, Lee, because it's a vulnerable spot where, it's definitely got a lot of energy involved. And I also had the same energy, but you wouldn't have known that. And so it came at a perfect time for me to hear some of this, for sure, about to be able to relate this subject to it. Do you know what I mean?
I definitely do. I'm trying to find a nice little balance where it is easy for me to take the lesson in and learn at the same time while I'm talking. Sometimes it hits a little too close to home, and it's tough. But I promise you, I've had it a hell of a lot tougher. And there've been a lot of times when I've had the same kind of anger aimed in my direction from this person, and there has been just as much truth in it at that time as there is with this. And I'm comfortable in the fact of how much I know I love my son, and how much I know I did absolutely my best to be the best dad I possibly could have been. And to make sure that my second grader went to school is, it's going to trump whether or not he wants to go to school or not. He wants to stay home and play video games, and I can't do that. So anyway, I'm
You did the
pretty
right thing.
confident that I did the right thing. So
You did. You did the right thing. And I'm sure you did the right thing. And if it came to physicality to get him out the door, you actually had to show him that it had to happen. I mean, because you know what, you were almost, sorry about this, you're almost damned if you do and damned if you don't. If you didn't get him out
Oh,
the
no,
door, there
no.
would have been.
Not
Yeah.
not only am I damned if I do, damned if I don't. It was damned if I do, damned if I don't. And now that I did it, I'm now damned because I
Yeah.
did it, and I'm undermined as a parent. So he knows that,
Right.
if he does spend the night again
Oh.
on a Thursday morning, my only recourse is going to be nothing, to get his mom to come pick him up. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know how I'm supposed to cross the next bridge.
Yeah,
So
wait till the bridge comes. Wait till it comes.
yeah. Today I don't have to worry about it. So this Wednesday, unlike the last 5 years worth of Wednesdays,
Well, may I make a
I
suggestion?
usually spend with my kids.
May
But
I make
Lee,
a suggestion?
hey, oh, sorry.
One suggestion, just one.
Yes,
Um,
ma'am. I'll
before you
always
go
take your
to the
suggestion,
court,
Rosa.
before you go into court, sit down with your spirit in meditation and actually write down what your intention is. What is it that you want in this whole situation? Because society has allowed children to have more power than parents, teachers, administrators, and everything. And a lot of times, once they learn that, they will utilize it as much as they possibly can to get what they want out of it. So before it even begins, before you even meet, write some intentions. It's how your meeting is going to be, because um, you guys have given him unconsciously the power to really manipulate your life, his life, and everybody else that's involved.
It
Now,
was unconscious. It stopped being unconscious for me a while back, but I hear you loud and clear. And unfortunately, a restraining order really puts me in a position where I can't communicate with them or see them. I can't go within 50 yards of them. If they
right.
call me on the phone and I answer, my ex-wife can make a phone call and put me in jail. And she's tried this many, many, many times, 17 times before.
And
So
see,
I really,
that's her anger.
yep.
Now
She's like
my
a scorpion. I
girlfriend,
just got to stay out of the way.
right, but you can write to the spirit of her.
Yes, absolutely. That's
You
for
can
me to
write her,
heal.
write
That's for
to
my
her.
forgiveness. Yeah.
And not only her, your forgiveness, but her forgiveness, because she really beating up on you because she's mad at herself for whatever reason. That anger is not, she sees it as you, but it's really not you. It's her. It's never the other person. We just, as humans, can let our ego tell us it's the other person. No, baby, it's you. It's
Yes,
her.
ma'am.
So you have to talk to her spirit, not her body, or not
Oh,
her intellect. You
I
have to
just,
talk face to face with her spirit and let God do the work.
Rosa and everyone else, I just got yet another insight from all of this. We started talking about the ear chick. Andy, you're flashing, that's good. At least in this case. We are all communicating through that one hearing device that we have on our body. Where I don't see any of you, I see pictures of you, I see reflections, and so on, but it's hearing first before anything else that you're trying to communicate gets through to me. And having said that, and I don't recall the biblical verses about hearing, Rosa, you probably know what it is, but upon hearings and something else happens, but hearing is the thing I have to do to listen more and speak less. That is the bottom line lesson for me to remember, because life really gets better when I shut up and listen more and talk less.
Bob, was that for me again?
No, it was just by accident.
No, it was for me
No,
because I thought of
it's
it
for
earlier.
anybody who wants it.
I have a question, and just thank you, everybody. I sort of drifted off to sleep, and I was listening to this ear conversation. And did someone ask a question about the piercing in the ear
Yes.
earlier? Yeah, because I actually, my holes closed up. Like, I had them pierced as a child, and I haven't been be able to get myself to get them pierced again because of the reflexology. I'm like, what's it gonna do? But anyway, Lee, did your son say why? Besides playing video games, do you know what's going on with him? Oh, he's gone. because to me that strikes me as the most
Lee,
important thing.
Dean is 7 years old.
Hmm. Yeah. So, I mean, just like when I was 7 and my parents were divorced.
On all of these
Yeah.
video games. Show him how to play this game or that game and explain. I mean, he's practically learned to read and write just from the video games. So it's very, very deep within him a love for video games. Unfortunately, they on the one hand they may be a learning device, but our civilization hasn't figured out how to do that as well yet. But this is what Dean
Is there
loves to do.
something is there something about school that he doesn't like?
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean,
It's not as much fun.
yeah, I mean that's an assumption. You can ask a question.
It's
See,
a good question.
this is where I'm coming. This is where I'm coming from with it, and it's entirely a projection. So take what you take and leave the rest. But when I was 7 and my parents were divorced, and like I had a lot of thoughts, ideas, feelings, um experiences, needs, and nobody asked me what they were. People were always making choices for me and telling me go here, go there, do this, do that, for based on what's more convenient for them. And I felt I mean I was also like physically neglected, but aside from the physical neglect, I was emotionally neglected. And um and not to say that that's what's going on with your kid, but I mean, he's got divorced parents. That's huge. And moving around between homes, that's huge. And this antagonism between the parents, that's also huge. I mean, at the very least, maybe he needs a therapist.
He has a therapist. Been going to a therapist for 5 years. Absolutely. Went there last night, and believe it or not, trying out medication, trying out lots of different things. Addicted to video games, needs to be off video games for a good solid 6 months to really break a habit. He's absolutely, completely addicted to video games, like it's worse than heroin. And he's just starting, or was starting, 2 weeks of not being able to have video games. So this was like the second night of that, and there were screams and shouts. I had to go tell the neighbors that he was not being tortured because he kept yelling that it's torture not, to not be able to play video games. And I had
Yeah.
to stick by the guns on that too. And the whole morning he wanted to play video games. He couldn't play video games. He needed to take a shower. Didn't take a shower. But I did get socks and pants on him, and I got shoes on him, and I got a jacket on him, and I got him in the car, and I got him safely to school. And on the way to school, he says, "I can't wait to be old enough to buy a car and move far away from you and mom." And I was like, I want nothing more than for you to be happy. And if that's what it takes, then just go to school so you can learn enough to get a job and buy a car and move far away. And
You know, you
I'm
guys,
ready to release him with love or hold on to him with love or whatever. I'm the best dad I can figure out to be, and I'm ready to show up and defend that if I need to in a court. But it's because I'm innocent, because I know I did the best I possibly could. And yes, he's definitely got a lot of stuff he needs to talk about and work out. And he doesn't have a vocabulary for his social emotional well-being to the level that he should. But that's kind of because he's just slow in that area, and playing video games only makes that worse. And so he just needs some time off of that to expand his horizons and see the rest of the world and get out of the myopic vision of the world that he has, which is 100% wrapped up in the excitement of video games.
Lee, before I have to leave, but I invite you to play back when you get a chance what Tamara said, because she was giving something, even an alternate view to that. And I think she
Okay,
spoke beautifully. So
great.
I've got to
Sorry I had to
go.
take a phone call.
Of course, we all saw that. It was okay. But you came back at exactly the right moment. I
Good.
love you all so much. Thank you for a wonderful, just the best meeting ever.
Have a
That's
good one,
all.
Dad.
All right. Bye for now.
you know, I homeschooled my daughter. My I have, of course, we had a community of homeschoolers because, so that
I
the
did
kids
not know
feel.
that. That was not an of course to me. This is all brand new news to me, Andy.
No, I
No.
guess what I'm trying to say is there were different curriculums that you can use, and there was, and these children were like more, what Montessori school is, and then there's another school for even higher up, because Montessori school usually only just goes up through grammar, and it actually allows the child to learn their interests, and actually they exceed. They exceed because they're not told they find out what their um,
Passionate about?
no, their way of processing, like what's getting through. How are they learning the most? So I hear you talk about the whole communication thing. Yeah, that's one of the problems with the whole metaverse that's coming along for us. But like
Opportunities
just
too.
saying, there is a perspective here. Yeah, there is another perspective, and that is, yes, so my kids exceeded, and because I allowed them to learn, and what they like, one of them loved to read, and so everything was learned through, and they loved dinosaurs and things like that, so they would read through, like, the curriculum had like dinosaurs where they could actually learn everything through the it sounds weird, but they actually, so I'm not suggesting homeschooling. I'm just trying to give you an example as to why kids rebel against school. We are told what we have to learn and how to learn it, and that doesn't work for all of us at all, so it doesn't really resonate with the person. Is every person is, you're coming from a different from a different processing, like even us. So
It's
yeah,
like adapting the content to the form of the kid
yes,
perception.
customized.
It's called the 100 languages of the kids. I mean, it's part of the Reggio Emilia approach as well. That comes from Montessori.
Yeah, and my kids are like gifted, and it's not because of how I let them learn, but they were already that way. So it was really hard for them. They both did try school, and school was really hard for them to be in. They were not interested in what they were not interested in, and so there it is. So it had nothing to do with like a lack of obedience even, but I thought it was important to. Anyway, I was lucky enough to homeschool because I didn't work at the time. That was really the only reason that happened. But yeah, so there's just a perspective of how it's not all bad.
Thanks, Andy. Well,
And we're all working through our shit, no matter how old we are.
indeed. Yes, indeed.
I did arrive at work.
So,
Gotta say goodbye. Love you all. Thank you. Just being
bye.
here.
Bye. Thanks for coming by with the butterfly picture. I'm going
Actually,
to
I'm
come
gonna
back to the
listen
lesson.
to the closing. Yeah, because I actually want to hear what the lesson was about. I don't even know. Of course I
All
do,
right.
but
Well, the lesson 68 is love holds no grievances. You who were created by love, like itself, can hold no grievances and know your higher self. To hold a grievance is to forget who you are. To hold a grievance is to see yourself as a body. It's the decision to let the ego rule your mind and condemn your body to death. Perhaps you do not yet fully realize just what holding grievances does to your awareness. It seems to split you off from your higher source and make you unlike him. Then it makes you believe that he is like what you think you have become, for no one could conceive of his creator as unlike himself. Shut off from your higher self, which remains aware of its likeness to its creator, your self seems to sleep, while the part of your mind that weaves illusions in its sleep appears to be awake. Can all this arise from holding grievances? Oh yeah, for he who holds grievances denies he was created by love, with a capital L there. And his creator has become fearful to him in his dreams of hate. Who can dream of hate and not fear God? It's as sure as those who hold grievances will redefine God in their own image, as it is certain that God created them like himself, and defined them as part of him, capital H there. It's as sure that those who hold grievances will suffer guilt as it is certain that those who forgive will find peace. It is as sure as those who hold grievances will forget who they are, as it is certain that those who forgive will remember. Would you not be willing to relinquish your grievances if you believed all of this were so? Perhaps you don't believe that you can let all your grievances go. That, however, is simply a question of motivation. Today, we'll try to find out how you would feel without them. If we succeed, even ever so slightly, there will never be a problem in motivation again. Begin today's extended practice period by searching your mind for those against whom you hold what you regard as major grievances. Some of these will be quite easy to find. Then think of some minor grievances you hold against those you like, maybe even think you love. It will quickly become apparent that there is no one against whom you do not cherish grievances of some sort. This has left you alone in the universe in your perception of yourself. Determine now to see all these people as friends. Say to them all collectively, thinking of each one in turn as you do so, I would see you as my friend, that I may remember that you're part of me and come to know myself. Spend the remainder of the practice period in thinking of yourself as completely at peace with everyone and everything, safe in a world which protects you and loves you and which you love in return. Try to feel safety surrounding you, hovering over you, and holding you up. Try to believe, however briefly, that nothing can harm you in any way. And at the end of the practice period, tell yourself, love holds no grievances. When I let all my grievances go, I will know I am perfectly safe. The short practice period should include a quick application of today's idea in this form whenever any thought of grievance arises against anyone, physically present or not. Love holds no grievances. Let me not betray myself. In addition, repeat the idea several times an hour in this form. Love holds no grievances. I would awaken to myself by laying all my grievances aside and awakening in him. I hope you all take this with you today. I do have the earlier time when I read the Course in Miracles Workbook for Dummies, which goes into a little bit more detail, and the replay is right up at the top, and it's already there because my computer rebooted in the middle of our session today. So there were a couple of minutes in the middle where, the other Lee disappeared, and when he disappears, then the recording disappears. But Clubhouse is still here, and that's all you need some that way too. I've probably got this 6 ways from Sunday. So I hope you all have a wonderful Wednesday. Happy hump day. And it's all downhill from here to the weekend. So I'll be here tomorrow for 69. I hope you all have a wonderful day.
Thank you.